It is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker who knows what it means to lead through pressure, uncertainty, and moments when everything around you feels like it's falling apart. Rekha Gibbons is a best-selling author, Wall Street alumna, keynote speaker, resilience architect who has spent decades studying what truly allows people to endure, to adapt, and to rise under pressure. She is not just someone who teaches resilience, she has lived it. Rekha has navigated two of the most significant financial collapses in modern history, Lehman Brothers and AIG, experiences that tested her leadership, her mindset, and the emotional endurance at highest levels. Through those moments, she discovered something powerful. The hardest race we ever run is often the one that's happening inside our own minds. Drawing from her background in industrial psychology, 4 decades in corporate America, years of studying professional and personal success, Rega developed what she describes as a framework for resilience, not simply as a personality trait, but as a discipline and an operational strategy for navigating life and leadership. And now she's going to share these insights in her critically acclaimed book, Marathon Mindset: Outrun the Voice of Negativity. And she is a sought after expert featured on television, podcasts, and stages around the world. So today's session is especially meaningful for all of us who are in leadership positions, who are high achievers navigating pressure, self doubt, and the constant demands of leadership. In our talk today, Outrunning the Voice of Negativity, the Marathon Mindset for Executive Women, Rega will challenge you to rethink resilience, strengthen your inner dialogue, and step into that version of yourself that is capable of leading through adversity with clarity, with courage, and endurance. So please join me in welcoming Rega Gibbons to the summit.
Is a voice in your head being mean to you? Do you ever wish your mind was your friend, not your worst enemy? Well, if you answered yes to either of these questions, then this session is for you. My name is Rekha Gibbons. I am a best-selling author of Marathon Mindset: Outrun the Voice of Negativity. I'm a Wall Street alumna, a marketing executive, and a resilience architect. I actually had to learn how to become a resilience architect because I was in AIG during the financial crisis. And I watched my 401 from Lehman Brothers go down in ashes. I had to use tools and become a crisis-tested leader based on that experience, as well as using my experience as a marathoner. I help companies and employees rewire their brain for resilience and success. I am a keynote speaker. I speak on television, podcasts, at universities. I'm a board member. And I also love to speak to people and my readers as well. So today we are going to discover the 4 ways you are wired for negativity. And I want to share the 3 ways that you can rewire your brain for peace and productivity, not only in your professional life, but in your personal life as well. And these are all pulled from my book, Marathon Mindset. We live in the technologically most advanced time in human history. We have more data, more conveniences, more gadgets at our fingertips to make our lives easier, faster, more comfortable. So why then are we so anxious and depressed? Remember the Renaissance? The word means rebirth. This was a period of our history during the 15th and 16th centuries, and it was associated with great social change, explosion of philosophy, art, music, humanities. Well, we live in a digital renaissance. It's a period of intellectual and cultural explosion fueled by something a little different, silicone and software. What this means is there are tools and knowledge that are available to everybody. In the 1400s, the Gutenberg press took the ability to print and took information away from the very wealthy and the elite, and it gave it to the masses. Well, today we are in a modern equivalent. This baby right here, social media, AI, news, have given and disseminated information to the masses. But there is a downside. Your brain has this incredible ability to change. It's called neuroplasticity. It can create pathways, new cells, and adapt to new stimuli. The problem is it doesn't know whether that change is harmful to you or healthy. It simply optimizes and uses the pattern that is repeated the most often. And this results in not just distraction, but our ability to physically lose joy, feeling from simple human emotions and experiences. And then there's this thing called the dreaded dopamine drop. That means that every outrageous headline that you see, every like, every notification triggers a burst of dopamine. That is the brain's reward chemical. The feel good, happy, lovely, euphoric feeling when you achieve something. However, when we flood our systems with dopamine, the brain reacts and it responds by down regulating. That means it doesn't go back to the natural level that it was before, and the receptors are kind of immune to the regular or the same amount of dopamine they were accustomed to. And then suddenly, your happy feeling just plunges and it leaves you confused, flat, sad. This is why kids are addicted to their phones, because they need to feed the addiction of that dopamine. So let's talk about the 4 ways we are wired for negativity. Number one, what if it's a default and not your fault, right? Our emotional brain defaults to negativity as a survival mechanism. It's a comfort zone inherited from our genetic and tribal beliefs. That means that every rustle of the trees, every twig snapping made us alert because it could be the saber-toothed tiger hanging around the fire. And those who lived to be aware and cognizant of those threats lived to tell the story another day. Now, this is called the negativity bias. Number two, well, technology has really outpaced humanity. In this era of digital acceleration, we have this intellectual gap where the tools we built have begun to outpace our own biology. That means our creations have evolved faster than our neurology. I mean, it took us so many years to develop complex language and reasoning. Guess what? AI has synthesized in just a few years what it took us thousands and thousands of years to do. Imagine this. AI has been fed every bit of information, every news, every journal. It's the Encyclopedia Britannica that got fed into it. Imagine all the social media, everything that got pushed into it so it could learn and improve. It knows everything we know. Unfortunately, it's going to know more than the human being knows, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. And the third reason we are wired for negativity is because you are literally being targeted. Social media has always been chasing one key performance indicator, and that is engagement. How do we keep the user engaged? How do we keep them staying here and focused on this feed or this page or this social media platform? So in the 2016, when Facebook introduced emojis, they discovered that the angry emoji was 5 times more effective than the standard thumbs up. And this led to the algorithm of outrage, which means that heat content that triggers higher arousal emotions like anger, fear, and disgust are the fastest way to keep you engaged. That's right. You know why? Because it keeps you scrolling. And here's the sad part. The thing that you crave is the very thing that causes you stress and is exhausting you. So the fourth way we are wired for negativity is this interesting thing. You are being targeted. Research at Yale found that Emotionally charged posts are twice as likely to get attention or to be shared as neutral ones. This is called algorithmic Darwinism. And guess what? TikTok, Facebook, these social platforms know. Outrage equals the most stable and the most predictable currency for holding your attention. Now, this is sinister because guess what? It turns our own survival mechanism against us. So, my question is this: has the servant become the master? There's this place where we don't even know what is real. These platforms and features are weaponized to bypass our logic and hit on our survival instincts. Fake news is high octane fuel for the outrage engine. And unfortunately, studies show that false news travels 6 times faster than the truth. It's terrible, isn't it? And that's because misinformation is designed to be more shocking and more novel than reality, which means what? You want to share it more. And putting even more pain to this is deep fakes and synthetic reality create an atmosphere where the truth, the actual reality, is dismissed as real. And then there is this very ancient tactic called divide and conquer. Nobody feels the same anymore. And that's because we are being pushed into warring tribes based on our color of skin, on our gender, by our religion, by the way we speak our languages. And this polarization doesn't just show you what you like, it shows you what the other person is doing that will disgust and outrage you. And the perception causes this. The other group is a threat. So it's no wonder we're anxious and depressed. The world wants to claim your mind, but you need to escape it by creating a blueprint. So let me offer you this. I want to share a little wisdom from my book and what inspired me to write it. In 2024, I was working with 2 global clients, huge clients. One was a consultancy and the other was the government. And I was doing videos, workshops, teaching how 5 generations in the workforce can work together and learn to lead. It was great. I was having a fantastic time. I had just left my position as Chief Operating Officer for a digital marketing agency. And I felt I was really using my purpose and giving back of my experience from 40 years in corporate America. Then came the backlash against DEI, and my clients told me, look, Rekha, we love what you do, but our budgets are locked. In a short month, I lost 2 major clients. And let me tell you, I was angry. I was really angry. And then I got depressed because here was my purpose, my career, the new direction of my career, and I was questioning all of it. And in the middle of that depression, something floated into the back of my head. It was a comment that my husband had made to me years ago. He said, you know, if you're going to run a marathon, you better be really good friends with your mind because for miles and miles, that's all you got. And I thought, oh, there's something here. If I can learn the tools that runners, masters have discovered to tame that dragon of negativity, I will share it. Hence the book. So, what I'll say is this: we have been wired towards negativity, negative patterns to keep us safe, to protect us from harm, and to use against each other. But I'm going to say there is a better way, and that is your roadmap to a resilient mind. And it is this: I'm going to offer to you in this hyper-connected world, this overwhelming world, you cannot just passively assume everything you're exposed to is real. That is why it's vital that you become an owner, not just a mindless consumer. Don't assume what you see is real or even true. The consumer is a victim of those 4 negative drivers that we looked at earlier, but the owner, she allows and controls every aspect that enters into her life, her body, her home, her family, and her magnificent mind. The owner chooses where to invest her focus, and she therefore architects her own narrative. So I'm going to share with you 3 ways from my book that you can become an owner, not a consumer. And I call this my master switch because we're not just racing against negativity, we are trying to remain the architects of our own lives. Let's look at the 3 ways you can shift from a consumer to an owner. Number 1, the neuroscience of rewiring your brain. Your brain has a superpower. It's called neuroplasticity. It can reshape, rewire, even grow new cells. It comes to this, your brain is your very own supercomputer, and it's capable of doing anything you program it to do. But here's the kicker. You must download the new program and you must run it. Your mind thinks it's real. Let's imagine that we're watching a John Wick movie, right? It's insane gunfire, obscene weaponry, crazy stunts. It's visceral. You feel the reverb in your ears of those gunshots. You feel it in your body, and you cringe when he gets hit. And your heart goes a little soft pitter pat when you see the dog. You feel the justification. You feel the anger, the adrenaline. And guess what? Your mind doesn't know that you're watching a movie. Your mind thinks this is real because your emotions are involved. Your breathing changes, your heart rate elevates, you feel justification, anger, and your mind doesn't know the difference. And this is everywhere. It's not just on television or in movies, it's in your reels, it's in the social media posts, it's on television. You're seeing this and your mind is stimulated and triggered everywhere and it thinks it's real. So it adapts. It rewires to handle that anger, that stimulation, that stress. And this is why you need to download new software that creates new pathways in your brain, especially for women in the workforce, because we are doing double, triple duty. It's imperative that you choose new pathways that are restorative, soothe, and not just a cheap diversion tactic. So my book is called Marathon Mindset. So you know there's got to be some running stuff in it, right? And there is. There's a secret that runners have known for thousands and thousands of years, and that is that lacing up your sneakers doesn't just activate your glutes. It creates incredible chemical upgrade for your brain. So I wasn't always a marathoner. I didn't start running until I met my husband. But let me tell you this, it has changed my life. And here's why. It dynamically rewires my mental landscape, my inner mental landscape. 2 reasons. Because running triggers a cocktail of feel-good chemicals and compounds that reduce anxiety and instantly create a feeling of euphoria and calm. Well, that's why they call it runner's high, right? And secondly, it creates this meditative loop and clarity. When you're running, your mind can't focus on that annoying email or that phone call that you have to make. They fade away with each step. And that's the beauty of the runner's way. Let's take a look at the difference between your mind when you're doom scrolling on the left and when you're in a runner's state of mind on the right. Now, doom scroller is the high alert beta mode. Beta is firefighting mode. It's designed for problem solving, for getting things done. But unfortunately, for most of us, the only problem you're trying to solve is what link am I going to click next? On the other side, the runner's brain, it's an alpha mode, which is wakeful, it's relaxed. And sometimes you even get into the theta state, which is deep relaxation. This is the where the subconscious bubbles up solutions that you're not even aware of. It means that a calm and focused mind isn't just relaxing, it's creating. And it's not only creating, it's making you a more focused human being. So we've learned how that ancient brain of ours has been hijacked by the modern world, by technology. We've learned the difference that our brain can't tell the difference from a charging tiger or an angry email from our client. And we know that we get the same rush of cortisol and adrenaline from watching something that isn't real, that isn't true. And we also understand that that stress has nowhere to go. And this is why we must teach our bodies and mind how to escape the digital dementia we live in. Think about it this way. When a kid has a tantrum, you put them in a timeout. They sit quietly, just sit there. This is your mental timeout to escape the digital dementia. I want you to take a breath. Take a look at this screen. Just take a breath. Let your shoulders drop. Did your heart rate slow down a little bit? You know, this is not just a biological reaction. It's not just emotional reaction. Stepping away from the screen is how an owner recharges her batteries. It proves that attention belongs to her, not to a platform. And this is not just a runner's secret. Philosophers have known for ages that walking creates breakthroughs. Writers know that a change in scenery helps them reframe difficult concepts and capture them. So I know you're asking, well, how did these techniques help me in my professional life? Well, think of your career as a marathon. Over time, using these techniques reduces stress, hormones, strengthens your ability to cope with everyday challenges. It makes you more resilient and less reactive, so you can handle the curveballs that come to you. You basically become a mental warrior gliding through situations. Let's look at 3 ways that you can benefit from using these techniques. Number 1, peak performance and focus. You know, the look squirrel feeling you get? Well, using these techniques creates the ability to focus on your goal of peak performance. You stop getting derailed by every notification, every little thing that distracts you. You gain mental clarity that your competitors don't even know. They don't even understand that this exists because you're gaining laser focus while you're doing complex tasks. The second way is controlling panic. You gain superior stress management skills when you're using these techniques. When you're in motion, when you're using all these techniques, the body floods itself with natural chill pills and suppresses cortisol. And guess what this does? It makes you Teflon in the office. You can handle criticism with composure because your brain has learned the difference between a real threat and a Tuesday afternoon email storm. And the third way is creative problem solving. When you use these techniques, for some reason, innovative solutions find you. You're able to connect dots that an overstressed person can't even see. And you are building a neurobiological framework that cultivates mental toughness, clarity, and emotional mastery. Now, these are the tools that you need to excel in today's demanding business landscape, especially for executive women. So let me offer you this. Imagine if you had a place, a special place, where you could ditch all that soul-sucking, numbing, paralyzing crap that bogs you down. What if you could just leave it, right? Your daughter's college application, your son's incessant video game playing, or that phone call that you have to return, or that email that is making your spidey sense tingle. What if you could just drop it at the altar of overwhelm? What if you could? So let me present to you your own altar. What will you leave there? So the techniques we talked about today don't apply to just runners. They apply to high performers, executive women. Let's talk about why. These traits that both share are universal. High levels of confidence, intense dedication, amazing focus, concentration to handle pressure like a boss. And most importantly, both high performers and elite athletes invest in themselves. They invest in their body, in their mental fitness, in their capabilities, in their mental game. Because peak performance is not just about being a winner, it's about being an elevated human being. So let me ask you this. Are you ready? You are powerful women, multitaskers, mothers, daughters, caregivers, entrepreneurs. Are you ready to own what you allow into your heads, into your homes, into your family, and into your magnificent hearts? I hope this session has inspired you to strive for a marathon mindset. And I hope you've learned techniques to outrun your own negativity. It's been great being part of the Women Who Lead Summit. A big thank you to Dr. Anna Thomas for inviting me to speak. I hope I pulled back the curtain a little bit on the battle all of us face, and that is the race against our own negativity. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. You can find out more about my book at rekhagibbons.com. And there's a QR code. If you click on it, you will get a freebie download of the 7 ways to be an owner, not a consumer. Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you so much, Rega, for sharing your wisdom and your message with us today. I think today's conversation was such a powerful reminder that resilience is not about pretending that life is easy or always having everything together. True resilience is learning how to continue learning, even through difficult seasons and unexpected challenges like you shared with us today. I think your message today reminded us that leadership and healing, it can exist together, that strength and vulnerability, they're not opposites. And some of the most impactful leaders are the ones willing to grow through adversity while continuing to serve and uplift others along the way. So, Rega, thank you again for the insight, for the encouragement, for the inspiration that you shared with the audience today. And for everyone joining us, I also want to encourage you to check out her new book, Marathon Mindset. Continue learning from the important work and the message that she is sharing in the world. You can scan the QR code on the screen, use the link in the chat to access her free gift, and stay connected with her. You can also follow Rekha Gibbons on LinkedIn. And as always, if you have any questions, place them in the Q&A box and she will respond to you via email. Once again, thank you so much, Rekha, for coming here to the summit, for speaking to all of us. It was truly an honor to hear you.